Did you know that people hate stuff that they don't know how works? If that's you, or you've heard that the ecological dynamics approach is super popular at the moment, please watch this. This is not some kind of a video that's going to teach you everything about the ecological dynamics approach, but I wanted to give you a little bit of context. I've been a strength and conditioning coach for the better part of 2 decades. I've taught a lot of different sports, and even from a university point of view, we look at things very much when it comes to skill acquisition from an ecological dynamics point of view. And what this really is at a 5th grade level is that you are learning to acquire new skills through exploration and play. And there is a very, very common misunderstanding at the moment where it means that you never drill, or drilling doesn't help, whatever it is. That stuff is not how things work, and we need to understand this. And I've created multiple videos to come in the weeks to come where we will be looking at this in more depth. So in short, the ecological dynamics approach offers a view when it comes to skill acquisition that it is about you, the environment, and whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, the task. In this video, after this little introduction, you will see a whole fundamentals class where we're using quote unquote the ecological dynamics approach of coaching to headquarters passing. I have a strong background in biomechanics, neuroscience, anatomy, and nearly 2 decades worth of coaching experience. So for me, this only makes sense. I, as a coach, need to see how my students actually pick up information from the environment. How are they moving their bodies? You will see people in their 50s, young men and women here as young as 14 or 15 years old, in the same class. And what this means is that I can't treat the person who's 20 something with insane flexibility levels the same as someone in their mid 50s with very limited flexibility levels. So I need to make sure that I see how they move, and then we create what we call representative learning as a part of the class so that everyone gets their way, not the way, when it comes to skill acquisition. And here's the cool part. There really is no such thing as the perfect way. We know that from decades and decades of movement science and skill acquisition. It's just not how things work. But what is cool is that it is your way, how your body and your brain can pick up information from the environment. It's kind of like learning to ride a bike, right? Or maybe you are walking outside and you slip on a little bit of gravel. All of a sudden your body recorrects itself, maybe by widening your legs or stiffening up your torso, whatever it might be. If you are familiar with soccer, you might be very, very familiar with Barcelona FC. They are notorious for their younger teams in their academies playing a lot of small-sided games. And they have constraints in those games where, as an example, you're only allowed to carry the ball with 2 or 3 touches before you have to pass that ball on or deliver that ball to your teammate. So all of a sudden you have spaces that are very constrained in the small-sided game. You have constraints when it comes to how many touches you can have before you pass that ball on. And all of a sudden they have created some of the best teams in the world. This does not mean, again, I want to reiterate this, this does not mean that they never practice how to pass or how to do their free kicks or penalties or throw-ins or whatever it is, right? You always have to stay on top of all those things. However, we can't be walking with blindfolds on and think that just because something is a trend, it is completely useless. We can't say that that's the end or the answer to absolutely everything either. Everything has its time and place as a part of this huge global system that is coaching. What made it difficult to get to headquarters?
Don't keep my knees together.
Keeping the knees together. Words are closing the space. What else?
Basically, put the ring underneath the knees.
Yeah, from the inside or outside?
Inside.
Inside. Okay.
Try to get that leg up. So closure.
So they're sticky. They're good. Just keep hooking and hooking and hooking. Yeah. What made it easy to get to headquarters if you got there?
Even when I got there, nothing was still pushing me away with his legs.
Skip backward.
He kept pushing you away.
He could get distance with his legs, like really.
Yeah. Can I borrow you please, Nathan? Let's have a look at those two difficult things. The first one is, if someone's got really big and sticky feet, it can be hard to get around, right? So here, hey Monica, here now, I need to weaken his hips, and then I need to collapse his heels to his bum. Yeah? How do I weaken his hips here? Towards him? Towards me, yeah. I hold here. Just watch out for the camera there. I hold here. And I take a little shimmy backwards. I'll just stay strong. Okay. What's happening to your hips? You're working overtime? Yeah. So I always need this little bit of a step backwards. And then I can pivot and then start moving inside. If I can't pivot, at least I can push. As long as my shin is on top of his shin and I can push his heel to his bum, I can step the other leg out. Yeah? And now, we're back in the same position. That's problem number one. Hard to get around the feet. We either weaken the hips and or bring their heel to their bum. Sometimes it's difficult to pivot because of someone's size of their feet and whatnot. So I can just hold it there and then just back still. Does that make sense to everyone? Mm-hmm. Alright, second problem. Nathan kept pushing you away. Yeah? That starts with my balance, and then it starts with how I start controlling his hips. My balance is found on the inside of my feet most of the time. Not here, not here. It tends to be on the inside of the feet. And then I lean towards the hip on the other side. Once I'm here now, cup the hip. And you need to swallow the knee with your shoulder, your armpit on either side. Try to move it. If he does that, it gives me the space to pass. Which is eventually what I want to do. Cool? Just chill out. And if his resistance is there like here, just let him. He's the one who has the energy I want.
Well, like when you're trying to do like if I'm like constantly like pushing back on you.
Okay. It's a good question. But the thing here is you're not in a very good position. Especially because we had the limitation that you couldn't grab my legs. Yeah? See how much energy you're wasting? And the person who's going to walk over the legs. Yeah? It's a very important thing. I'm not being cheesy, showing put it into the middle. But it's one of those things where you need to learn to tense and relax, tense and relax. And we'll get to that later on this time. So now let's get back to the same game. Specific training. The job is to get to headquarters. Person's job on the bottom is to keep the feet behind the knees at all times. Person on the bottom, you can now use one hand to grab the person's legs. Cool? Person on top, your job is just to get to headquarters and establish control. Fair enough? Yeah? Let's go. Really the only difference now is that the person on the bottom can say grab with one leg. Did that cause any problems for someone? Yeah, I would hope so. It's pretty obvious. Please don't say, oh, the person grabbed my leg, that was the problem. But why did it become difficult when the person was grabbing your leg?
Not easy for them to back off balance. You're using like a collar tie or to keep their distance management without using the legs.
So all of a sudden, you're starting to fall. It's easy for them to grab with the head. What else?
It also made it like because they're holding, if they're holding your left leg, you can only weave their right leg, and so you could really focus on the right leg from bottom. Kind of flip it.
So there's a thing in grappling where if I can remove your better options, then I'm at a greater chance of doing what I want to do. Does that make sense to everyone? Yeah? Alright. Final thing now. We're going to use the headquarter pass to actually get around their legs. The headquarter position in order to get around their legs. It doesn't matter how you do it for now, we're just picking up pieces of information. Yeah? But here's the limitation. To the side a little bit, Timmy, just so we get it. When I pass, especially from headquarters, have a look at this. Good morning, Oliver. When I settle in for headquarters, if I put my hands on the ground, this can work if I do some very specific passes, which we will do later. However, I'm kind of easy to topple over. I can become very light. I can get under my legs and all sorts of things. So with that, So with that in mind, your job now, when you get to headquarters and you pass, is to keep your hands on the person at all times. You are not allowed to lift your hands on and off the person's body. So if I get to headquarters now, I'm not allowed to do this. I have to slide it the whole way to always stay in touch with him. So if I want to get to Harsh's leg, I can't just move it. I have to get all the way up. Does that make sense? And then, as I'm doing this, I need to find a way to get around his legs. Cool? Start in headquarters. The person's job on the bottom is to put their feet back inside your knees. So Harsh's job, I start here. His job is to leave his feet inside and keep them there at all times. You can use one hand, just like we did. My job is to find headquarters and keep my hands on his body the whole time and then pass to mount or side control. Does that make sense to everyone? Again, reiterating, you're not allowed to lift your hand and place it somewhere else. You have to slide. Cool, cool? Yeah. Alright, let's go. 2 minutes on top and 2 minutes on the bottom. Yeah, and then you pass Oliver. From headquarters. Alright. Yes, please. Damn it. Yep. Brazilian style, bro.
That's so pretty.
Don't fucking turn the fans on! Coach, can we have the fan on? No!
Under push-ups.
Later.
Okay.
Alright. What are you picking up?
A lot of weight is necessary, like keeping the legs down sometimes.
Very good. So we need weight distribution. Yeah.
Slow down. You're moving your hands like that, make sure you go slow and think about where you're going to put them instead of just like grabbing them.
Good. So we just created, I suppose, a limitation for your passing that you couldn't just fucking place your hands up and down wherever you wanted to for the purposes of weight distribution. And you guys just told yourself that, yeah? Which is really, really important because that means that you're starting to pick up what we're trying to achieve today. The next thing now is to look at directions of passing. We're going to practice a couple of them. We're going to give, I suppose, a couple of criteria for what we look for in terms of going in either direction. And then from there, we're going to do lots and lots of specific training under different conditions. Harsh, can I borrow you, please? Yes, please. So once we get to headquarters, I've got 3 primary directions. I can hide the knee in the same side arm. I can hide the knee in the opposite side arm. Or I can go up and over. I can climb over his leg, yeah? Which is becoming rather common in modern day grappling. Going side to side is probably your best options early on, and then later on, if you feel like it, we'll go up and over. But the first thing you need to address when you get here is your balance, like we said. But then I need to make a decision. Is his knee closer to my outside armpit or closer to the middle, which means that I go the other way? That's your first decision. So the thing now that you need to start paying attention to is where the space is. Right now, where is the space? Is it on this side of the knee or this side of the knee? It's my right side. His knee is pointed towards my other armpit. So if I go this way, he's going to take my leg. If his knee is pointed to my outside armpit, I take that side. Now I can distribute my weight a lot more evenly in order to start tracking it. Does that make sense? And then, if his knee was shifted this way, where should I take it? I'd probably go this way because I can see that the space is on the other side. So if I crush him this way, I'll get so much space on the other side in order to pass. Yeah? So, let's have a look at how to pass to the outside armpit. I see that the space is to the outside armpit. I have to make sure that my hands are on my opponent at all times because I need to get heavy. I can't place him on the ground. I'm going to take my whole body to the side where this leg is now. 1, shift. I drag his leg across and I pin it with my opposite leg. Here now, Harsh wants to bring this knee in front very often. So I need to make sure that as I shift sideways, his groin is almost becoming a cradle for me to lay the side of my hip in. I shift him across. Here. There is no space here now. Can you see that? As I do that, I can slide my hand nice and tightly, get my head under his head, and then I just slide out to the side. Then we walk his body away, and now he's in trouble. He's twisted like a pretzel. So everyone do this with me now, please. Grab your training partners. Make sure that the person who's standing, you can see what I'm doing as well. Oliver and Aki. So here now we weave and we get to headquarters. I can feel that the knee is going towards my outside armpit, so I just swallow that knee. But remember our rule. We can't put our hand on the ground. So find your balance, and then we slide the hand to the arm. I grab his waist, and then I shift over to the opposite side. Good job. Remember now that his groin, other side up here, his groin is a cradle, and you need to lay side on in that cradle. From here, It's very wise if you put your head under their chin and then you just slide in front of their leg and walk their hips away. And now it's easy for us to gain top control or side control. Yeah? This is what we call a knee cut pass. Yeah? Alright, I'll give you, call it 5 or so minutes. It's nice and slow practice to get used to it, and then we'll put it into a live scenario straight away. Cool? Alright, let's go. Don't worry about the timer. Is this making sense? Yeah. Alright, let's put this to practice straight away.
We did have one question though, Ken. You said when we are passing and we are about to pass on this side, you said leave the hand here. Why can't we slide it as an underhook there?
You can of course slide it, however, the more control, so what Harsh is asking, is this hand here. If I slide this straight away, you have overhook and underhook options. Especially if I use this as a base on the ground. Yeah? It is a little bit different if I slide it and hook your body straight away, but you still have my arm. So if I lose my balance, then I don't have much. But if I can keep this elbow here, if you fight for an underhook now, it's very difficult. Really, really hard. You can't get an overhook. And if you try to bring your leg over, I have this, it's almost like a force shield. So it allows me to maintain my balance and pin you a lot easier. Yeah? There is nothing wrong by shooting this arm under. You just need to be aware of, I suppose, the pros and the cons. So if I use this and I keep sliding straight down, if I don't have good underhook control, then he's going to win that battle. He can bump my ass forwards, all sorts of things. So it kind of goes to the point of keep your hands on your opponent for as long as you can when you pass it takes space away. And it forces you to slow down. In the heat of the moment, fuck. It only needs to be good enough to work, doesn't it? Yeah. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Awesome. Here now. All good boys? Does that make sense? Very good. Next, a lot of specific training. 5 minutes of work. Your job is to start with your feet here. My job is to get to headquarters and then pass. But you are only allowed to pass to the side that you just practiced. Making sense? So my first job is to get to headquarters somewhere. And then, I'm not allowed to pass this way, but I can fake it. Yeah? I can feint by doing this, but then I have to bring it across and then start passing. Does that make sense? So don't overthink. Your first job is to get to headquarters. And then your job is to pass. But you can only pass going to the side where the knee cuts. Cool? That's all. Every time there is a pass, you switch top to bottom. Cool? If this is easy, you've done a lot of this, you can start with the delicate needle. Yeah? Especially the trigger in the corner. Cool? Making sense? Mm-hmm. Right, let's go. Five minutes of work. Line is your bad. Nathan, would you mind turning the fan on? Yeah. Alright, circle up, guys. The 3 nice keys.
You.
What are you doing, mate? Alright. So far we've gone through a lot of steps. One of the things was to understand headquarters in general, 3 directions, and looking for what their knee is doing. That analogy doesn't always make sense. You know, like, what's the story that my knee is trying to tell me when I'm past? Yeah, or their knee, rather. But you can see that that relates to where there is space to go. If you can start observing where there is space to go, then things are starting to become rather easy. Yeah, this is all about decision making. If I can take away your better options, then I can easily do my better options. Yeah. So now we've gone to the outside. The knee was turned towards the outside armpit. We swallow that, and then we quote unquote knee cut. Then we're going to smash pass, going to the other side. Some people call it a reverse knee cut because it's very much the same movement. We're just on top of both of the legs instead of in between them. Yeah? Should I go into this? Yes. So everything stays the same. Once we get to headquarters, I see what his knee is doing. The knee is telling me a story that I don't want to fucking be to the outside. This happened a lot, didn't it? Yeah? Nathan, how many times did you move your knee across so Timmy couldn't get the knee out to the other side? A few times. Yeah?
Every time.
Every time. Because we're trying to go to just one side, right? So it creates a problem. Well, the problem we're solving now is going the other way. So I swallow that knee here. Then, again, I need to try to practice this, keeping my hands sliding on my opponent. If I can get to his armpits, this is good. But the next thing I need to do now, if everyone can come over here, please. This is the very stereotypical sort of headquarters pass. I bring the leg across my body and then I shimmy to the side. If he can bring this bottom leg up and over, I'm in trouble. So what we have to do here is to do a little side shimmy here. And I pin the leg. From here, as I stay close and I slide my arms on him, I can start smash passing. I smash pass by bringing this knee behind his body. If everyone can go behind me, have a look at how I move my left leg. Yep. I slide my leg and then I switch onto my hip here. There's a very important detail here. If I bring this bottom leg through, he can hook his legs and then start attacking my leg. This is subtle. We've all done that before. So when I do this, if I want my leg to go through his legs, I need to hook my foot behind his knee. Can you see that? Come over this side here. Yeah, now he can't go into the side. Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
So when we smash pass, we have to hook behind the bottom leg. And then it's all up to you where you go from here. You've got multiple options.
What happens if you don't hook that?
Are you for real? Here, if I get this leg through, it turns to boom. So,
Did you say underhook too, or? Yeah, I was trying to wait it.
I mean, the colour difference.
There is no color.
This is like the fucking Oreo. Black, white, black. You colourblind, man. Yeah, I've got the sand entries, can't you tell? Fucking Alright. Alright. So, correct. So once we get here, I've got a couple of options. Look for where the space is. If the person's hooking really strongly behind your knee, trying to go this way can prove difficult. So if someone is hooking strongly here, which direction can I go? Forwards. Come over here. If you want to do. I need to bring my knee above his thigh. Then I cross face him. Now I can get my hands together. And then we're in mount. Fancy, dude.
That's cool. So much going on.
Really slow, isn't it?
Yeah, then go that way. How do I move my left leg? What's important? Slide. When I switch my hips, I have to hook. If not, I'll get tangled up. He's hooking here. Where's the space? It's going this way. Cross face.
And you just looking up on the thing and you're looking up what's it.
Yeah, whatever you can get. He's not going anywhere. If there is no space and I can't go this way, maybe he's bringing this leg up. You know, he's hooking here, he's flaring that up. He might even be framing on his own knee. Step behind him. Look at where the space is. From here, you can keep going. Okay. Have a little play. So you bring the knee all the way across. If the person is cooking and there is no space to go backwards, you go forwards. Remember the rule in half guard. A similar position. The head has to be inside the sandpit. You can only look across the sandpit or the cliff if you have your hands together. Yeah? If you can't go forwards, we go backwards. Cool? Let's practice.
You know, next time you use overhand, I'll be able to see the difference.